Cimilre pumps have been around for a while and are popular outside of the US as well. They came to the US, I think, in about 2021, but they've been over in Asia and all over for about 20 years. So this company has been around for a while, but we're starting to see them more and more often here in the States. So I thought I would do a video kind of walking you through some of the Cimilre pumps that we have on the market. I have 5 pumps here. I think they have 4 at the moment. One of them's old, but I'll show it to you. So since I'm talking about 4 different pumps in a video, I will put some timestamps down below for you, but we'll run through a quick setup here and how to use them and kind of compare them together, talk about them versus some other pumps as well. I'll show you some data and some graphs, some unique things about these pumps, and we'll kind of go from there. If you're new here, my name is Allison Tolman. I'm a breast pump expert and a coach for working moms. We talk a lot about breast pumps and pumping on this channel. That is our main focus. So if pumping will be part of your life, make sure that you're subscribed so you can find more helpful videos from us every single week. I'm also the founder and the lead coach in our Pumping for Working Moms coaching program, which is a long-term program designed to help career-driven women balance pumping and their career. So if that's something that you'll be doing, there's a link down below to learn more information. Okay, let's dive into these pumps. All right, so if you've seen the Cimilre S6, which is kind of the main one, it's been around for a while, I think one of the first things I noticed was that it looks really similar to the Motif Luna, okay? But I talked to the company and they said that there's really no affiliation there between the two companies. So perhaps they're manufactured in the same place, but there's really no difference there. I thought that was interesting since I've kind of thought they were similar, but they're not. They're Cimilre. Okay, that was a bad joke. Before we dive into those pumps, I think we'll just talk about the flange kit really quick since it's very similar on all of them. And then we can kind of look at these different pumps, their different features, and kind of go from there. So they do have a wide mouth bottle. They have a very kind of standard looking flange kit that comes with these. So you'll have seen this before. You've got the duckbill valve, although this one is a little bit different. It's kind of short. Can you see that here? And it goes inside like this. So it's always best to use the parts that the company manufactures. This flange is actually a 21 millimeter. I usually try and order smaller sizes when I order pumps, but as you can see, it kind of tapers a little bit as it goes down in the tunnel, which is not my favorite because if you have a flange that is well sized, it doesn't, and then you taper it, sometimes it can get too small pretty quickly. So that's not my favorite. If that does cause a problem for you, then you may want to order a different flange kit on Amazon. There's several different options for you. The nice thing is that this uses really generic parts. So it's just generic tubing, no adapters or anything like that. I'm just checking. Yeah, all of them look. Yeah, you can use this very generic tubing with all of them. You've got your standard 3-piece backflow protector, okay, 2 hard parts and a soft silicone. Make sure that they're all assembled and clicked in well. And then you really can only fit this in one way. So you're not gonna mess it up. Okay, really simple to use parts there. Okay, let's start with the Cimilre S6. They do have a S6 and an S6 Plus. The only difference is the Plus has a battery, as you can see there. So one of them does have a battery that makes it more portable and one does not. So just make sure you get the one that you want. Another unique thing about these pumps is the company has kind of made skins to put on them, which is kind of fun. So you can put different stickers on. I chose this one because I'm kind of boring and just the blue sounded nice to me, but this is a sticker. So you can kind of change them out and personalize them as well. Kind of like an extra feature. Is that necessary? No, but kind of fun. You know what I mean? So let's just start with the Cimilre S6 since it's kind of the most standard, the most traditional pump, and then we'll kind of move on from there. This pump is probably going to be the one that's the most consistent for a lot of users. It's simple, easy to use. All the buttons are clearly labeled, and if you've ever used a breast pump before, you'll recognize a lot of these here. So it does have 2 modes for you, massage mode and expression mode. So massage mode is where you'll start to initiate that letdown, and it's even labeled. So it has a little hand symbol, but it also says massage under it. So you're not gonna mess it up. You can also switch into expression mode, which is also labeled for you, which is kind of nice. Massage mode or stimulation mode, as I often call it, has 5 different cycle speed options for you. So you can go 60, 65, 70, 75, or 80. I tend to like to see faster cycle speeds. And so going up to 80, it does make it appealing to me. It's not like super high, but at least it's giving you some options there. You've got 5 vacuum levels on each of those cycles. The cycles will stay similar based on the vacuum. Does that make sense? You get to pick it and it will stay there. In expression mode, you have a few different cycle speed options as well. You've got 30, 34, 38, 42, and 46. So a little bit slower than some of the ones that we might see like on the Spectra. Again, not a problem. It does go faster in stimulation mode, which is interesting. The pattern of this pump though is not like the Spectra. So I'll put an example up here for you. It has no vibration, which again is fine. This would be a good pump if you liked the Spectra but just didn't like the vibration. This would be a nice alternative for you because it is kind of similar in that way. This pump has a really unique system on the inside, okay? It has a quad diaphragm motor. So the motor is kind of, it's not just like a piston motor that's coming in and out, or, you know, a weighted motor or anything like that. It's quad diaphragm. So it's actually moving like 4 different things at once. Really unique. I was chatting with the company a couple weeks ago about it, and they kind of showed me a diagram. I'll see if I can find something similar and put a link in the description for you if you're interested. Again, if you're new to pumps, like, don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. But it does have kind of an interesting motor system in it, kind of an intentional new thing for them. So I thought that was pretty cool. It is really comfortable. I will say that. And it doesn't always like feel as strong, but the vacuum strength and suction on this pump was great, just fine. So it is a comfortable option, and it's going to work for a lot of people. All right. So really standard pump from Cimilre. I had some pretty good things to say about that one. A couple of their smaller portable pumps are not as awesome in my opinion, and I'll walk you through those. So they have 2 kind of portable pumps here. One is the Cimilre P1 and then the Cimilre E1. And you can see this E1 is probably one of the smallest pumps that I have. I have kind of small hands, and I can actually, like, I can fit it in the palm of my hand. It is super, super small. So if you're looking for literally the smallest pump probably out there, I would argue that this is probably it. It's also very, very simple. Actually, let's just talk about this one first. All right, might as well. So this is the E1. Really, it was really designed to be the smallest pump. So it's very simple, kind of very minimal features, but it's also really reasonably priced, kind of meant to meet some of those lower requirement for, you know, for cost, but still kind of trying to give you the quality there. So it is very, very simple to use. I actually left the little sticker on that it came with that kind of told me the modes just so I could remember them for me there. But there's a mode button, and then there's an up and down and a power button. That's literally it, okay? There's a little port here where you can pump. And the white is massage mode. If you turn it to the blue, it's expression mode. And as you can see, those cycle speeds, like, it sounds exactly the same, and that's because it does start in the very same place, which is kind of interesting. So when it's blinking, it's telling you the level, and when it's still, it's telling you the time. Okay, so again, really minimal features. You can go up and down on those vacuum pressures. The one thing that I didn't love about this pump is the cycle speed in stimulation mode does go down pretty quickly. So on level 1, it was like 86 or something, which is pretty high. I like that. And then when you went up to vacuum level 2, it was 70, and then it kind of went down from there. So if you do want to pump on higher vacuum levels in stimulation mode, just know that it's going to be pretty slow as you go up in the vacuum. Again, it's not uncommon for portable pumps for the speed to be tied to the vacuum, but this one did go down to like 49 on the highest load, which is kind of slow for trying to initiate a letdown. I'm also going to put a graph of the pattern of this pump up for you because it has an interesting feature where it has a break in between each pull. Okay, and that break gets longer kind of the slower that it gets, if that makes sense. So it'll come up, and then it will kind of pause, and then up and down, and then pause a little bit. Again, not my favorite. In expression mode, it did have, you know, decent suction as it's going. It's not obviously not the best. It's a very small motor, so you're not going to get that like strong, consistent, reliable suction that you would on a bigger motor pump. Like it's just tiny, right? But it was fine, right? The cycle speeds again were tied to the suction, not uncommon in portable pumps, and it did get pretty low at the end there too. So, which again, in expression mode is less of a problem. But if you're looking for literally the simplest and smallest pump you can find, not even just from this company, but like in general, that is probably it, okay? Is it the best and most high quality thing? No, but it will literally fit anywhere in anyone's pocket. And then you've got the P1, which is a little bit bigger. So this is the Cimilre P1. This pump is also very, very simple to use, okay? It's got massage mode and expression mode, and you switch by using the mode button here. They're also labeled, so you're not going to mess it up. It has a similar graph pattern to the one I just showed you, where it's kind of going up and down, and it does have that break. You can even hear it as it's doing that, you can hear that break in there. The one thing I don't love about this pump is it is slow, okay? So this is actually, let me put you on level 1 massage mode. This is as fast as it goes, okay? And if you've used other pumps or if you're familiar with pumps, actually I'll put a video down below if you want to explore more of the metrics on pumps and what they mean and what we like to see. It's a super nerdy video, but I will put it down there for you. This is slow, okay? And this is on level 1. As you go up, even just to level 3, it's gonna slow down even more. So in stimulating a letdown, I'm not confident in this pump's ability. That I don't know a nicer way to say that. It's fine. It's not my favorite. I kind of let you hear it. This is literally as fast as this pump will go. So nice thing about this pump is it does have decent suction and it is really simple to use, okay? The pattern with the break in there, again, may not be my personal favorite, but it may work well for someone who might like that, okay? So not like the worst pump, but I probably wouldn't, it's probably not on my list of recommendations that I would often give if you're looking for a portable pump. I just think knowing the market and what else is out there, there's a lot of other options that I would probably choose before that one. Okay, and the last pump I have here from Cimilre is the Cimilre Dual Pro, okay? And this is a fun little pump. It's a dual motor pump, so you can control the sides separately, the different settings. I'm gonna walk you through that. It is a little bit complicated in the settings, and actually the company like published the speeds and cycles and things like that just to help you make sense of it, but I'm gonna walk you through it now. If you've seen this little pump, the Cimilre 5, I think it was called, or 5 Plus, Dual 5 or something like that. This one's no longer being made. It was replaced by this one. And actually, I think I like this one better. I don't know. This one had its fun little quirks too. This was also a dual motor pump. I think that's the older version of this one. Okay, let's turn this on and try and make sense of it together. So like I said, you can pump with different settings on each side, okay? That might be good for someone who has damage or a crack or needs healing on one side, needs less suction. If you've had like breast surgery on one side, you might need a little bit different suction on that side. If your breasts just respond differently, you know what I mean? It can be kind of fun. When you have 2 motors too, the suction strength is usually more consistent, right? Because instead of taking one motor and splitting the suction between 2 sides, you have a motor for each side. Does that make sense? So if you want to turn on both sides, you're going to have to turn the power on both sides. So right now, only this side here is going. If I want a suction to even happen on the other side, I have to turn it on, okay? Now, there is a sync mode where you can use this pump with the suction and cycles the same on each side, which I think is really nice because sometimes you just want to pump with it like a normal pump, right? Same on each side, just go do your thing, whatever. So when you adjust buttons this way, you'll see that it's adjusting both sides together. If you want to do something different, you're gonna have to turn the sync off, all right? Now, this pump does have a stimulation or a massage mode, they call it, and an expression mode, but it just kind of goes up in levels. So you don't actually switch between modes really. You're just gonna keep going up, all right? So yeah, like on some of these other pumps, you have this little M button where if you wanna go to massage mode or expression mode, you click back and forth. This one just goes levels 1 through 5 are massage mode, and then levels 6 through 12 are expression mode, okay? Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense a little bit, but we usually see higher suction in expression mode and faster speeds in massage. So they kind of just like made it a continuous thing, I guess. The only problem with that is if you find that level 2 in stimulation mode triggers a good letdown for you and this suction feels good to you. If you want to go into expression mode, you're gonna have to turn up the suction and cycle through all of those suctions. Does that make sense? So if you're like, okay, normally I would just switch into expression mode and maybe start on the lowest mode and go from there. You can't really do that on this pump. You're gonna have to keep going up, which is gonna increase the suction. You can see that the button automatically switched from massage mode to expression mode once it hit level 6, which is where it's classifying expression mode. So it's gonna have higher minimum suction in expression mode, all right? And don't let this throw you off. I think sometimes we get set on like there's 2 things, massage mode and expression mode, and you have to do one or the other. I think kind of just using this pump more intuitively is going to be your best bet. So starting in massage mode on a setting that triggers a letdown easily for you and that works for you, and then just moving it up as needed, right? Even if you don't quite get into expression mode, it's fine. Like everything's just kind of moving up sequentially. So I don't know. I guess it makes sense maybe, but also why deviate from the norm when the norm is working and people understand it is kind of my thought there. But I don't really have too much of a problem with it, other than expression mode does start at 170 mmHg, which is what their company says. Okay, so if you do want to pump with 2 different settings, okay, just know that the cycle speeds are kind of tied to the suction. Okay, so if you're going to increase suction on one side, the speed's going to be different and they're going to be out of sync. Okay, which is again it's not a problem, but just if you have sensory issues or if you feel like that would drive you nutso, just know that that's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to turn the sync off and then I'm going to increase on the left side the vacuum. And I'm going to let you listen to it. Can you hear how they're doing 2 different things? That's because there's 2 motors in here and you have them set to different settings, all right? If you decide you want to just sync them together, you can push the sync and it's going to go to the lowest setting of the 2 and bring it back down, okay? So I will put a link to the settings of this pump if you do have this pump and are trying to figure it out, just so you can kind of see what it's doing. When you do have them synced together, you can change the cycle speeds a little bit. I think there's 3 different cycle speed options on every suction level, and they kind of vary based on where you're at in the suction. Again, I'll put a chart down below for you, but when they are synced, you can adjust the cycles a little bit. All right, and again, having 2 motors does make the suction and the cycles more consistent because it has just more power to keep them where you want them to be. When you're not in sync mode, you're just set with the cycles that's on the suction level. Okay, which again is not a bad thing, but just kind of a quick walkthrough. By clicking the little logo here, which looks just like a normal logo, but it actually turns the little light on the handle, which is kind of cool. I will say this pump is very light and I like how skinny it is. Like you could fit that in a purse really easily. Sometimes when you have like bulky pumps like this, they just fit awkwardly in little bags. So I actually really like that this is very skinny. It would fit really nicely in a bag. So this is not a bad pump and probably one that I may recommend, definitely more than their portable pumps. But if you're needing a dual motor pump there, that can be a nice option. I do wish it had a little bit lower suction capabilities in expression mode just because not everybody wants a ton of suction, right? Actually, there's another video on the channel talks about more suction is not always better, right? Sometimes more suction leads to less milk, which is not a good thing. We want to get the milk out as effectively as possible in the least amount of time as possible, right? That's kind of the goal for a lot of pumping users. So again, we kind of help working moms do that inside of our coaching program. That's what we specialize in, is helping working moms pump fast and efficiently so they can continue to feed the baby how they want to while also thriving in their career. We like to work with them long term, which is really cool too. So all of these pumps do have a 2-year warranty and they do have a right fit program where you can get different sizes of flanges if you need to by filling out a little form and they can send them to you. I think they have a little quick consult too with a CLC if you want. So the skins available on different pumps is kind of fun too if you like to personalize things. And yeah, overall, fine pumps. I think out of all of these pumps, this one is probably my favorite. Very standard, very simple to use, probably good for a lot of people. This dual motor pump is good too. If you've used it, let me know what you think about those continuous levels of the suction going all the way up and not being able to kind of switch back and forth between stimulation and expression mode as easily. Anyway, let me know what you think of these pumps. If you have more questions, put them down below in the comments and I'll do some follow-up videos and help answer them as well as I can. All right, good luck. Happy pumping.